Hey guys, in this next video, we're going to look at your next piece of technique, which is strikes. So in strikes, you're actually going to be creating the grace note by striking your chanter instead of lifting up a finger. So if you look at the music that I have for you, I'm going to put it up on your screen. For strikes, we have the scale with no grace notes and with grace notes. Let's look at the bottom hand notes first. You'll notice that this little grace note in between each scale note, it can change where it is on the staff, depending on what note on in the scale. Okay, so for the bottom hand notes, that grace note is going to be on the low G line, and that grace note is what is denoting the strike in that section of the scale. So on low A, B, C, and D, that grace note is going to be on the low G line, and telling us that we're basically going to be creating a momentary low G when we do the strike on those notes. You'll notice as you go on to the top hand notes that grace note changes. So it can be on low A in the case of E, it'll be on E in the case of F, and F in the case of high G, and high G in the case of high A. All right, and I will demonstrate for you exactly why that is. So let's start with the bottom hand notes. I'm going to go ahead and start with low A. And to create that momentary low G with low A, we're going to basically just tap our pinky finger. So it's going to look like this. To do it from B, we're going to have to put down both of these fingers. Okay? So it's going to be important when we're putting down more than one finger, we try to move those fingers all at once. Okay? And we should be looking for like a popping sound, creating that low G from that note. Okay, so from B, it would look like this. And finally from D. Okay, so if we don't move all those fingers at once, we might get something kind of like this. Okay, and that's purely coming from the fact that those three fingers are not moving as a unit. They're not impacting all three of those holes at the same time. So we're not getting that solid popping sound that we want. So let's move on and look at how we do these strikes on the top hand. So on the top hand, we're going to be tapping different notes on the different scale notes of the top hand. So for E, we're actually going to be creating a momentary low A when we tap our third finger here. From F, we're going to be tapping with the second finger here, creating a momentary E. From high G, we're going to be tapping this index finger, creating a momentary F. And then from high A, we're actually going to be swiping this thumb over the hole there to create a momentary high G. Swiping is more efficient than pressing. If I press here, we're going to, basically it's going to put some pressure on the chanter and your finger is going to be stopped for a second as opposed to giving this fluid motion of swiping like that. So let me show you the strikes on the top hand one at a time here. All right, very good. So I would encourage you to practice those individually without any grace notes or any metronome first. Make sure you're comfortable with that. And then let me demonstrate for you how we would do it with the metronome and with grace notes as well. So I'm going to go ahead and set my metronome to 60 beats per minute here, and we'll give it a shot. Okay, and with the grace notes. All right, so that might be kind of hard for you to do at 60 beats per minute right off the bat. So again, I really encourage you to do it more slowly without the metronome first. If you're having any issues with the grace notes going from one note to another, please look back at the G grace note scale video that we shared earlier and do some remedial work with that before you attempt doing that with the strike scale here. Okay, so I want to wish you good luck with that, and I will see you in the next video.